Damn is not a classic, bruh. It never was, and it never will be. So yeah, yeah. This might actually be our most controversial video yet, but yeah, this is my opinion. This is what I actually think. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. Welcome to the Music Corner. Welcome to our rewind review of Kendrick Lamar's Damn. Now, yeah, in 2017, Compton rapper Kendrick Lamar followed up his much praised To Pimp a Butterfly with his most commercially successful album to date, Damn. Now, it was received with mass critical acclaim, but for me, on the other hand, yeah, I don't really know about that. But yeah, is there anything that you want to get into in terms of the background, Rossi, before we really dig deep into this review?
Yeah, of course, of course. Now most of us, if not all of us, if you're maybe like an unk, even if you're an unk, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the name of Kendrick Lamar, one of the most world-renowned rappers of our generation. He's made some pretty great tracks, some pretty great albums here, some classics overall, in my opinion. I'm going to have to agree with what you have stated there, though. This album, damn, isn't really a classic in my opinion, even though it does have a lot of critical success and it has a lot of praises and award nominations. I feel like it doesn't really speak towards the levels of his previous works. Through recent times, it's sort of lowered through my discography of Kendrick Lamar here, sitting around the likes of his what's this album that he just released before his
DNA.
latest one?
Oh, Mr. Morale.
And Mr. Morale, yeah, it feels more not to say that it feels like a Mr. Morale, because in terms of the theme that is brought upon this album, he does tackle some pretty good interest in this fact that which sort of makes it a bit more of a worse album than Mr. Morale, in my opinion. Now, but the production of this album is still pretty fantastic, and his rhyme schemes are overall pretty decent. But I don't think he does anything to move the ball with this album. I feel like this was a very safe album for him to make, a commercial album for the people to praise, for him to get his monies, his awards, whatnot. At least what it does feel to me, what it feels to me, in my opinion, on this regard. But I'm going to give more of my thoughts on the album, TMC Guy. What do you want to, any thoughts on what I've said or anything at all?
Yeah, so yeah, I actually wanted to do this rerun review of Damn because I wanted to get something off my chest. This album is not a classic. It really, really isn't. I always hear people saying it's one of Kendrick's three classics, but I've always disagreed with that statement. Don't get me wrong, it's a good album, but it's not a classic, bro. A classic, nah, not Damn, dude. Not Damn. There's a lot of issues I have with this album. Like, the production is definitely the most mainstream and radio friendly that Kendrick has ever had. Kendrick even has some guy randomly yelling ad libs on this, like it's some kind of mixtape too. So yeah, those were like that's just kind of like what I wanted to, you know, get off my chest first of all. But let me just dig deep into this. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. So yeah, damn. One thing that jumps out about this album is how damn cryptic it is. Like fans are still trying to understand and break down the lyrics of this album to this day. There's so many bars on this that are just mysterious and hit scratches. Like, is it wickedness? Is it weakness? You decide. Whatever happens on Earth stays on Earth. Like it's filled with cryptic messaging and stuff that's really just left up to your interpretation. And Kendrick tackles some pretty heavy topics on this, such as religion, fear, his place in the world, the plight of the black race and its major cause, pride, lust, love, stuff that mankind has been pondering since the dawn of time. This album for sure has some of Kendrick's worst ever singles ever. Actually, like I hate the beat from Loyalty and think it just sounds weird. Like just because you reversed some sample doesn't just make it good, dude. And the chorus is so lame too. Like he just says the name of the song three times and calls it a day. Rihanna's feature I can also live without, and his writing isn't too deep on this track either. It's stuff I feel like just the most unskilled songwriter could come up with if you just told them, "Hey, write a song about loyalty." Like so, yeah. Also, don't really like Pride. Like the beats is decent. I just hate the chorus so much. I think it's so weird and kind of whiny. There's some genuinely good ideas on the song. It's just that they're conveyed through very poor delivery choices. But yeah, is there anything that you'd like to get off your chest in terms of the analysis before I continue with mine?
Yeah, yeah. This album, even though it does tackle a lot of things, it really doesn't feel cohesive in a sense of what was provided on To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City. Even on Section 80, it doesn't feel as structured in that regard. Now, I also do want to agree in terms of the production feeling very mainstreamy. It does feel very melodic in that aspects, and a lot of the songs just don't work within the album. I do agree with Loyalty being a throwaway track from this album, a song like Pride, even one which is going to be controversial here, Humble, which is, I mean, it has a decent hook, which is very, very catchy, but still doesn't feel really cohesive towards the story that is being told through Damn. Where you look towards an album like To Pimp a Butterfly, where it does tackle the theme of racism and black migration, and when you go over to Good Kid, Mad City, where he's talking about his come through game towards entering the success of fame, and still contemplating towards his struggles and regrets within life. He doesn't really go through that within this album, unless maybe a song like Fear, which is honestly the best song in this album, in my opinion, where he does speak about the fears of him trying to come up from his earlier childhood days to when he finally maintains success within the rap game and is world renowned in this aspect. I feel like this is when Kendrick is at his most relaxed. In terms of place in life, you can really tell that within the way he raps and the type of choices that he makes within the songs here. Some of them just don't go together, and I feel like this song really does break structure where it doesn't really feel as cohesive on that regard. But it's not to take away from the highs on this album. I mean, this album is pretty good. I remember when I first listened to this album, I was all over DNA until the point where I told myself that I would need to learn. That last verse when he's just going crazy. I told myself I need to learn that entire verse, and it really taught me how to be a rapper. So there are some really good stuff that are on this album here. Not to shy away, but definitely some stinkers in my opinion here. Like I said, it's Kendrick at his most relaxed within life. It feels like don't want to say that he doesn't really care, because at the end of the day, it is an art form where an artist would always put their heart out towards this, but it just doesn't work for me in my opinion. I used to not like this album when it came out. It then grew really strong on me due towards the mainstream success. But now that it has died down, it's sort of fallen off in my opinion. But nonetheless, we can go deep and straight away towards the elements of the album here. TMC guy, take it away.
So yeah, for me it's just like even with the songs that I like, there's always just something that just doesn't work about it with this album for me. It's like he has really good ideas, but there's something about it that I'm like, nah, that's just like nah, Kendrick, you should have just gotten rid of that, and then the song would have just been perfect. So like even on the songs that I like such as Lust, like I love the song, but I just hate Kendrick's delivery on the chorus. Like his singing on that chorus is awful, and the same thing for Love. I love that spacey, ethereal beat, and Zakari's chorus is fantastic too, but Kendrick's nasally delivery on the chorus is such an ear sore, like really. And Humble is a song I used to love, but now I find it incredibly annoying. Like the beat is really like nothing special. It's quite simple and repetitive. I don't know if it just got overplayed or something, but I just cringe every time I hear that piano riff today. Kendrick's verses and delivery on this is just okay too. Like Element and DNA are still amazing bangers. Or those songs are still some pretty fire bangers. And at this point, I feel like a common theme starts to be apparent with my thoughts on Damn. Like good lyrics and ideas, and it's just the musical choices that were made were either horrible from the start, or they just aged like milk, or just eventually got annoying. So that's like how I could sum up my thoughts on Damn. And I love the song Triple X. It's one of Kendrick's best rapping performances, one of the most dynamic productions too. The beat switches are killer, and so is that U2 feature. Like it could definitely be the best one on the album. Fear is one of Kendrick's best written songs ever too, and taking us through Kendrick's biggest fears at various points in his life. But still, the chorus is weird as hell, and that high pitch "Am I now" is so unnecessary and could have been completely removed from the song and not hurt the song at all. Like, yeah, also, I've never been too big on that beat as well. Like, it's definitely one of the least prominent things about that song. That guitar riff in the beat is nothing special, and the drums are honestly just whatever. It actually feels like a lazily produced beat in contrast to how amazingly written the song is. And yeah, God is honestly one of Kendrick's worst songs ever, in my opinion. That chorus is the worst thing Kendrick has probably ever put in a song. Even his delivery in the verses is whiny as hell.
Yeah, just to touch upon what you have stated, I mean, the album does have a lot of high and low lights here. Some really good songs that do come forth, as you did mention. DNA and Elements also feel is pretty good here, and I do. You did give me some insight towards Fear with the beat especially being a lot more simplistic than what the rhyme scheme and the song itself is supposed to be or is presented to be initially on that regard. A very great verse. However, the hook is a lot more raunchier in that regard. Now, I did feel like it was unique when he said, "If I can smoke fear away, I roll that motherfucker up." And I take two blunts. You know, me being once a stoner in that regard, it is relatable in that regard. But then the high now, I think he wanted to add that sort of funny element, but it seems a lot more lazy the more that I look at it. It really didn't age well in that regard. So I did just wanted to point out your thoughts on that regard. But nonetheless, we can move on to our next segment here, our pros and cons
Uh,
onto the album. Yeah, please do let me know on that regard.
Yeah, let me just like carry on with this. Like, this might be a little bit petty, but like, I even hate the album cover of this album. Like, and Kendrick usually has like great album covers, like GKMC's family photo cover, the you know the To Pimp a Butterfly album cover. Like, need I say more? Like, it's amazing. But yeah, but this dude is like, it's just Kendrick's just like on the album, and it's just like whatever, bro. It's so lame. Like Mr. Morale's cover is also quite lame. But yeah, there are a lot of things. Yeah. There are a lot of things I appreciate about this album. Like, yeah, DNA is one of Kendrick's craziest deliveries. I love that trap beat. The drums could blow out your speakers if you're not too careful, actually. I love that ethereal beat on Yeah, and Kendrick's kind of depressed delivery, too. I love Element's beat as well, like the drums, the minimal piano riff, that bass, and Kendrick's boastful, confident lyrics, and his flow is one of the best on the entire album. Feel is another standout for me too. Just feels like Kendrick had a lot to air out and get off his chest on that one. Like he just doesn't feel happy or is in the right headspace right now. And also like how he felt like the weight of the world was on his shoulders, but nobody's really there for him or praying for him, you know. I also love the spacey sort of weird distorted vocals on in that beat as well. And yeah, Duckworth could be the best song on the album actually, and it's a nice way to cap off the album with Kendrick's origin story, which ended up being one of ended up being like an out of this world crazy coincidence. And I love the production and various beat switches on it too. And it's one of Kendrick's best ever produced songs as well. So yeah, Duckworth is definitely my favorite of this album. But yeah, you said I should get to my pros and cons. Yeah, I guess pros. Yeah, it's much like Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly. This album will have you decoding and trying to break down its lyrics for years. Songs like Fear and Duckworth are some of Kendrick's best ever written songs. The more mainstream nature of the beats, coupled with the thought provoking nature of the lyrics, makes many of the songs fit for both the club and just lying in bed looking up at the ceiling, pondering the many themes of the record too. And it has some insane replay value as well and can easily grow on the listener with each revisit, as it did on me actually, because I actually hated the album way more than I do now. I don't hate it now, but back then I actually didn't like it at all. Now it's actually a pretty good album actually, in my opinion. So yeah, there was insane replay value. It could grow on you with each revisit, and yeah, uh, Kendrick's intentions on this become more and more apparent with each listen, and you grow to appreciate it more and more with this album. So yeah, it's definitely one album that really grows on you with time. I can add that as a pro. And my cons, yeah, this album has some of Kendrick's worst delivery ever, some of his worst melodies and lyrics. That's some and lyrics as well. Some of the songs are just really really like weird, and some of his worst tracks ever, in fact, actually. And the popularity of bangers like Humble, like it didn't really help it because it got so overplayed that it just really became annoying at times. So like yeah, I guess that might not be Kendrick's fault that the song blew up so much, but like yeah, I don't know, I freaking hate Humble right now. But yeah, what about you? What are your pros and cons?
Yeah, pros and cons. Just to elaborate more, when the highs are up, they are really up here. I mean, some great songs within the track list here, but it's just clouded with a lot of unnecessary tracks here. It's Has some of the tracks that Kendrick has here has one of the weakest deliveries that he has throughout all his albums. Over this album, sort of feels like, in a sense, I would describe it as the Black Panther album, but just Kendrick Lamar. In a sense, it kind of feels that way, where there's a lot of throwaways. Songs, a lot of good songs, but like I said, the album is not really cohesive. There's a lot of, like, it's a good song, then it's a okay song, then it's a great song, then it's a bad song. It just doesn't feel like the classic Kendrick that we are used to when it came to to Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City, where there was actually a cohesive story that was going out. One thing that I also didn't really like, and Kendrick really made this established, was the interlude. There wasn't really any interlude presence onto the album here, which really does bring the album together towards having a cohesive story, which basically labels over towards my point. Each song basically has its own story that's completely different towards what the album is, especially with Kendrick having this King Kunta, or not King Kunta, but this Kung Fu Kenny persona on this album. It doesn't really feel made through with what he delivered. It's not like, okay, I'm actually, learning karate or whatever the case may be. It doesn't really have that element, despite that being the focus of promotion when this album did come out in that regard, which practically they sort of upset me, given that Kendrick Lamar is such a great storyteller, and I thought that we'll be getting something unique, even if not true, something at least unique, something that's probably like out of a video game or something, just something different in that regard. And that wasn't delivered at all. So the more that I do listen to this album, the more that it does drop within my overall rankings towards the Kendrick discography, which we may give you one day. Look out for that video. Who knows? And it may be coming soon. But yeah, just my overall thoughts on this album. A pretty good album. Definitely not a classic in my opinion. There are definitely some spots where they are really, really botched. It feels like a very clumsy WrestleMania pay per view where you get some really, really good matches, and then some of them are just botched as hell. You just knowing like what the fuck is going on, type of energy. But yeah, those are my pros and cons. I think we can get over towards our rankings. TMC guy, what final thoughts do you have? What are your rankings going to be for this rewind that we're doing for Damn?
Yeah, so yeah, closing thoughts. Yeah, it is a good album, guys. I know I might seem quite negative on this, but it is a good album. It'll just grow on you after like years and years and years and years and years and years. But like, yeah, it just took a lot of growing on me. Like that's the best way I can put it. It took a while for me to be like, okay, I kind of see Kendrick's vision. So yeah, there are some pretty great tracks. DNA, yeah, Element, Feel, uh, yeah, Love, Triple X, Fear, and Duckworth. Those songs are genuinely good songs. But yeah, overall, it's definitely not a classic. It's definitely not a classic. It's no Good Kid, Mad City. It's no To Pimp a Butterfly, and it's no Section 80. Those are Kendrick's three classics, in my opinion. And yeah, this for me, it's a pretty interesting addition into one of my actual probably my favorite rapper of this generation's discography. But yeah, I may not love it as much as other people in the community, but I still appreciate Kendrick's vision. And for overall, my rating, I'm feeling like a B to a B plus on this. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling. A B to a B plus. Not quite a classic, but still a pretty decent enough album. What about you?
Yeah, yeah. In terms of my rankings, I'm gonna give this a, B plus. I think it shows that Kendrick is good, even on his worst day, given from or his worst attempt given on this album. He can still deliver a solid body of work. I mean, this is still Kendrick Lamar at the end of the day. I just think it's a Kendrick Lamar that doesn't really care as much, or is just too relaxed, as I've said before, in that regard. But still, you are getting Kendrick Lamar. You're getting some fire ass flows. You're getting some crazy ass beats. Like I said, that DNA, that song, that DNA verse at the end, I'm still trying to learn it today, man. I think I've got like that first, like maybe a third of that verse down until I like lose breath, because I'm trying to rap it without losing breath. It's just that hard. It just shows that the skill that Kendrick has on this regard. But yeah, those are my overall thoughts. Though that's our thoughts on the album here. Of Damn. I'm pretty sure that y'all have given it a listen, but if you haven't, please go ahead and do so. It is still a pretty good album. We still have good ratings. We can still sing some praises onto that. But please, guys, let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If you don't agree with us, let us know in that regard. But please do like the video. Please subscribe. Please share it with your friends and family. And we will see you on the next video, guys. Please take care. Peace out.